So today we'll be seeing a practical on MANOVA, that is multivariate analysis of variance. We have three problems here. In fact, there is nothing tricky to be done here. So these three problems are exactly similar. So I'll be solving one of them and I'll be sending other two to you. Again, I don't expect you to do the calculations, because I know many of you don't have access to computers, but just go through the problem statement just to say that okay, these are also some of the possible problem statements. Okay, so the first problem is: the data was collected to study the differences in chemical characteristics of ancient pottery found at 4 kiln sites in Wales, and the percentage of oxides of 5 metals were measured for pottery samples from different sites. Let us see the data, the pottery data. Okay, so this is the data set. So the first column gives you the name of the site. So Llandernine, Caldicot, Island Thorns and Ashley Rails. And then these 5 columns correspond to these 5 metal oxides: aluminium, iron, magnesium, calcium and sodium. Okay, so these 5 oxides were found, and we have measured percentage of oxides for different sites. So we want to compare whether they are same. Means we want to compare whether, say, average aluminium content at this site is it same as average aluminium content at this site and this site and this site. Similarly, we have to do for iron, magnesium, so simultaneously. So if my H0 gets accepted, then we would actually be saying that all these 5 oxides are found in almost equal proportion at all these sites, all these 4 sites. Okay, that would be my H0. So my alternative would be that for at least one of the sites and for at least one of the oxides, the proportions or the percentages are different. Okay, so even if it happens that, okay, let's say for example, I'm not looking at the values, I'm just giving you an example that for Ashley Rails, magnesium percentage is different than for other sites, and if everything else is same, still my MANOVA H0 would be rejected. Okay, so this is the pottery data. Now how to do this? We have actually derived the formulae for test statistic of MANOVA and MANOVA table in theory. So let us first revise that and then we will do this in R. Okay. So we have data from 4 sites, and MANOVA null hypothesis says that the mean vectors for each of these sites are equal. That is, my H0 would be mu L, suppose, because L, the first site name starts with L, so mu L equal to mu C for Caldicot, equal to mu I equal to mu A, Ashley Rails. Okay, so this would be my null hypothesis, that all these 4 vectors are equal to each other. Okay, remember, each of these vectors is of order 5 cross 1 because we have 5 oxides. So each of these vectors is of order 5 cross 1. And my alternative hypothesis would be that at least one of these is different from each other. So at least one of these mu i's, let's say, is different from the others. In fact, when I say at least one of these vectors is different from others, it need not be different over all components. It may be possible that it differs only for one component, that is, maybe only aluminum oxide content is different, or maybe only sodium or magnesium content is different. Okay, so this is my null and alternative hypothesis. We know from the theory that we have derived that Wilks lambda, formula for Wilks lambda is determinant of S1 upon determinant of T. Okay, this is the notation that we have used, where S1 is the sum of individual CSSP matrices. So S1 would be SL plus SC plus SI plus SA, if these are the CSSP matrices for respective samples. Okay. Similarly, T actually consists of 2 terms. First term is the S1, that is this term, plus you need kind of deviation of each group mean from the overall mean type of term. Okay, so if I do that here, I would have NC, sorry, let me start from first. So NL times YL bar minus Y bar into YL bar minus Y bar prime. Okay, so YL bar is the mean for data from first site, Y bar is the overall mean. So we are taking YL bar minus Y bar into YL bar minus Y bar prime, and we are multiplying by the number of observations from the first site, plus NC YC bar minus Y bar, YC bar minus Y bar prime, plus NI YI bar minus Y bar into YI bar minus Y bar prime, plus NA YA bar minus Y bar into YA bar minus Y bar prime. Okay, so we need deviation of each site mean from the overall mean. We take its kind of square and then multiply it by the number of observations from that site. This becomes my T. Okay, so this entire thing is kind of like second term of T. Okay, second term of T, and this is the first term of T, that is S1. And once I have S and T, I can compute lambda, Wilks lambda, by this formula. Okay, this is my lambda W is nothing but Wilks lambda, so I can compute it by that formula. And we have the approximation, that is minus m ln lambda follows chi square with p into k minus 1, where we know that k is number of groups, so here it is 4, p is my number of variables, so here it is 5, and m is n minus 1 minus p plus k by 2, where n is the total number of observations from all sides. Okay, so total number of observations, so basically this n would be NL plus NC plus NI plus NA. Okay, is it okay? So once I have this formula, so first I can compute S, then I can compute this second term T2, then I'll get T as S1 plus T2, then I'll compute lambda W as the ratio of the two determinants, then minus m ln lambda, this would be my calculated value of the test statistic. I would compare it with the quantile of this chi-square with p into k minus 1 degrees of freedom. Is it okay? So let us now go to R and do these calculations. So I need to first import this data in R. So let me call it again read.table. We will give the path of the file. Okay, so this is my path and the name of the file is pottery.txt. Okay, so we'll change these slashes. Pottery.txt. We had headers, so we will give header equal to true. I cannot call the first column as row names because they are repeated. Okay, so we'll have to separate that column and then convert this to matrix. So let us see if this works. Okay, so the data is in front of me. Now we need to remove the first column. We need to keep it aside, because we want to create subsets later. Or at this time point itself I can create subsets. Now there are two options. I can actually have individual sets, or I can do it as part of the list. Okay, so I can have each matrix, each subset data matrix as a component of the list, so that I can do things on it. So let us try that. So let me create a blank list called as L. Then I have 4 different sites, so my number of groups is 4. K is 4. Now for I in 1 to K, In fact, this k I don't need to write as 4. Let us actually count, okay, because there might be some data sets where it may not be possible for me to manually count. Okay, so the sites are recorded in D1, but we don't want repetition, so we will say unique of D1. Okay, unique command gives me how many distinct entries are there. So this gives me 4. So k I can say length of sites. Okay, so k is 4. Now for I in 1 to k, what I'll do is I have to separate data for each site. Okay, so we will say that ith component of this list is actually subset of my original data. Of course, I would remove the first column. Okay, subset of my original data. And what kind of subset? So I would say D1 equal to sites at I. Let me run this for I equal to 2 and show you the result. Suppose I equal to 2. So what I am doing, I am creating a subset of D in such a way that I would collect only those points for which site is Caldecott. D1 is equal to sites at 2. Sites at 2 is Caldecott, because sites is giving me all these 4 names. So if I run this, only this part, you can see only the data corresponding to Caldecott, those 2 rows are produced here. Okay, and if I check class of this subset, class of this, it is data frame. We want a matrix, so I will make it as dot matrix and this. Okay, so what I am doing, let me repeat. I am creating subset of D. I don't want the first column now, because the first column is just to indicate which is the site. So I don't want the actual first column, because that doesn't contain any data. -1. And then we are saying that, okay, separate those rows of D1 for which the site is the given site. Okay, and we are doing it for all 4. So actually my L2 is data corresponding to Caldecott. L4, let us say, it would be data corresponding to the last site, that is Ashley Rails. Okay, so this way I have a list. Now, okay, so I have 4 data sets. The formulae that we saw, they tell me that I need CSSP matrix for individual site. I also need mean vector for individual site, and I also need overall mean vector. Okay, so overall mean vector I can compute from my original data itself. So overall mean, let me call it y bar. So y bar is col means of D, of course with -1. Okay, interestingly, we don't need overall CSSP matrix. Okay, we just need overall mean. And let me check whether it is okay. Okay, so this is my overall mean. In addition to this, I am also going to need individual count of, how many observations are there at each site and so on. Okay, so maybe I can do those things here. I define nvec, a blank vector which would store all 4 values of ni. Then I need to store the 4 mean vectors and the 4 CSSP matrices. So also what I need is the sum of 4 CSSP matrices. I don't need them individually. So one thing I can do is first create a matrix of zeros and then go on adding each of these matrices. Similarly, the second part of the T, we have defined a T for the denominator. So the second part of T contains deviation of each mean from the overall mean, and we have to add all of them after multiplying by respective value of n. Okay, so I need first component of T, which we have denoted by S1. So as I said, let me create a blank matrix. I need to see what is my P. So n col of D minus 1. So my P becomes 5 as expected. So S1 is going to be a matrix of zeros where n row is equal to P, n col is equal to P. Okay. So we will add each CSSP matrix to this S1 because finally we need the total of them. Okay, we don't need them individually. And then I need the second term from T, so that we will call as T2, which is also going to be a 4 cross 4 matrix. So in fact I can save one line by calling it as T2. Okay, so both these are 0 matrices. Now for I in 1 to K, for I in 1 to K, so for each one of these sides I have to do something. What I have to do? I have to first compute CSSP matrix of that site and add it to S1. Okay, so let me call it SS, CSSP matrix corresponding to a specific site. So SS is going to be co of L of I, okay, into, I need to see what is n for it. So Ni is going to be n row of L of I, and I would be doing Ni minus 1. Okay, what I'm checking, Ni is number of observations in the ith site. So I have to multiply the corresponding covariance matrix by that Ni minus 1. Okay, and this same Ni I am going to store at ith position in NVec. Okay, same Ni I am going to store in ith position in NVec. Okay, I have this CSSP matrix, but we have to add it to S1. So S1 equal to S1 plus SS. Then I need the mean vector. So y bar I would be col means of Li. Y bar I would be col means of Li, and I have to take deviation of this y bar I from the overall mean. So my T2, for my T2 I need some term, so let me call it TT, term to be added in T2. So it is Ni into y bar I minus y bar into y bar I minus y bar prime. Okay, so I need percent star percent. So percent star percent transpose. Okay, just to make sure this is correct, I'll need to change the dimension of both y bar and y bar I. So dimension of y bar and dimension of y bar I we will make as p cross 1 so that the transpose thing works. Okay, this is TT, and this TT we are going to add to T2 every time. Okay. Let us print for one particular I, and then you will see. So for I equal to 1, what is my Ni? 14. So for first site, let us check. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So for first site there are 14 observations. So we compute this CSSP matrix for the first site. Then it gets added. Then this is the mean for first site. Okay. We compute this term TT as mean into, okay, so it is also 4 cross 4, and then we compute T2. So it is working. So let us run this S1 T2, let us make it 0 without forgetting, because otherwise things would get added. And now let us run this for all i's. Okay, so I must have some S1, this is value of S1, and I also have some T2, that is the second term in T, and my final T is going to be S1 plus T2. Okay, and my lambda W is determinant of S1 upon determinant of T. So lambda W, let me call it LW, Wilks lambda, that would be determinant of S1 divided by determinant of T. Okay, so this turns out to be the value. Remember, it should always be between 0 1, because my T matrix already consists of S matrix. So if you are getting a value beyond 0 1, then it might be a problem. So this is my lambda W. Then I need to compute minus m log of lambda, where m is capital N. Capital N is simply n row of entire data minus 1 minus p plus k whole thing by 2. So p plus k by 2. Okay, so my m turns out to be 20.5. So point to be noted, m need not be integer. And we know my test statistic calculated value. So T cal is minus m into log of lambda. It turns out to be, okay, log, for r I need to use log, not ln. Okay, so it turns out to be 90.16. I have to compare it with chi-square. So T tab is going to be q chi-sq 0.95 p into k minus 1. The degrees of freedom for chi-square are p into k minus 1. So let us see what is the value of T tab. It is 24. So we are quite strongly rejecting H0. Okay. In fact, if you want, we can compute p value also. P value will be p chi-sq at T cal. Of course, I have to subtract 1 because we need to take right side probability, not the CDF. And the degrees of freedom are p into k minus 1 again. So the p value is 10 raised to minus 13. So we are very strongly rejecting H0. That is, we will conclude that the the four sites don't have similar proportion of oxides. At least one of the sites has a different percentage of at least one of the oxides. Is it okay? So we can do the same thing in Minitab. In Minitab, things are quite easy as expected. So I've pasted the data set here. We have to go to Stat, ANOVA, General MANOVA. Okay, Stat, ANOVA, General MANOVA. Let me click it. The responses are the actual readings that we want to compare. So we have to put all these 5 oxide columns in responses, and in model I have to give site. Okay, because model is the factor which causes the difference. So here we are expecting site to be the cause of difference. So in model I have to give site. Remember, even though this box is bigger than this, you have to enter more columns here. In this particular data, it doesn't create problems because you don't have site available here, since site is a text column. But instead, if I add just 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 2, then people do end up giving reverse way. Okay, so please make sure that responses, all the responses, even though it is multiple columns, you have to enter them here. And a model, even though it is single column, because we are doing only one-way MANOVA. In our syllabus, we don't go for 2-way or 3-way MANOVA. So model will always be a single column, that would be here. Okay, then we don't have any covariates. Covariates is when you have something like ANOCOVA, but we don't have any covariates, so we leave this blank. Options, yeah, we don't want weighted fits, so no change here. Graphs, residual plots if you want, but right now we don't want anything. Results, okay. So we can print the matrices, the S, T and those matrices if you want. Univariate analysis of variance. So if my H0 gets rejected, then we would be interested in seeing for which oxides things are different. Okay, there are 5 oxides. So out of those 5 oxides, for which oxides the means were different. So that can be done via this univariate analysis of variance. Okay, So let us click OK and you get everything. Okay, so let me first show you what all we have got. So there's a long output. Okay, so this is first it has printed for individual oxide. So this is for aluminium. So for aluminium it got rejected because p value is 0.000 almost. Then this is for iron. For iron also it got rejected. Then we have magnesium. For magnesium also it got rejected. Then we have calcium. For calcium also it got rejected, and for sodium also it got rejected. So basically it got rejected for each one. Okay, and in this particular case it has happened, but in general it need not happen like that. Okay, this is the actual MANOVA output. So they are giving three different test statistics: Wilks lambda, Lawley-Hotelling test statistic, Pillai's test, and Roy's. Actually 4 different test statistics. If you compare from our Wilks lambda value is same, 0.01230. Let us check. Yes, see, 0.01230. So this means whatever calculations we did in R, they are correct because my R value of Wilks lambda is matching with Minitab value of Wilks lambda. These are the degrees of freedom, and the p value also says it should be rejected. The other 3 we are not going into their details. Okay. One more point, this M from Minitab, S from Minitab, N from Minitab, they are different than the M that we have used. Okay, so they won't match. Our M value was 20.5, here it is 0.5 because the notations are different. Okay, so we are done.